Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go over the stock market and something that I did buy today. It is XRP. I'm going to explain that here in a little bit. But a couple of my buys actually are SMCI, Supermicro, and XRP, which is a crypto. I'm going to go over that. But first, I do have to break down the dollar. We're going to go over Bitcoin, and then we got the S&P, the Nasdaq, the Dow. So far, we're still touching on the Russell. But no complaints for not breaking down the Russell, so that might be leaving soon, rather soon, as a matter of fact. All right, looking at the dollar, as far as the weekly zone goes, this needs to chill. Just looking at candle size, like you can clearly see, we're running into some resistance right here. However, I am short this, so I do need that to turn around. I did go short this, so I'm short the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen. Now that's a monthly zone, and that's just kind of not doing anything, kind of sideways. But my newest position was the British pound US dollar long, which is also a short US dollar play. This overall trend, that one probably will be tagging out here pretty quick. If it gets any lower, that'll just be an L on my part. If it ends up tagging out and getting back in, then I will also get back in. But for now, I'm not going to ride this thing all the way down here. But anyway, what's up, everybody? Everybody tuning in, jumping in. I know there's probably going to be a lot of questions about me buying XRP, and there is a whole video coming out that will end up being on Don Fran's show as far as YouTube goes. I want to break down, I don't know if I make it 2 videos or not, but I am going to break down what XRP is, but also what I bought it off of is technicals right now. Hoping for a bigger sell-off in MicroStrategies tomorrow to sell some 280 puts. We're going to have to break down Supermicro because Bitcoin sending it, and we're going to pull up MicroStrategies. Not Supermicro, MicroStrategies. We're going to pull that up because looking at this, you might assume that's probably $1,000 stock right now. But it did. I think it got ahead of itself, and I think today we got the reality check of MicroStrategies. Being that person who wants MicroStrategies to drop more. MicroStrategies is definitely going to be an interesting one because as Bitcoin is pushing up, I keep waiting. I mean, 100,000. I just wanted to check that mark right there. I mean, that's how far we got to go. It's just where my mouse is. That's literally nothing for Bitcoin. Absolutely nothing. And I keep thinking like, oh, it's going to be tonight. It's going to be like 11 o'clock. I thought it was actually going to be last night. I was like, I'm going to have to end up going live just to talk about Bitcoin hitting 100K. I do think all that is more of a milestone than a sell-off point. I think a lot of people thinking it was going to go to 100K and sell probably already exited because they're probably imagining this is going to go to 100K and drop like a rock. That's where everyone's going to sell. Those people likely already selling. They're trying to just front run it. If you're going to sell it at 100K, but you sold it at 98, 97, that's fine. You still did good, And oftentimes, if you truly believe it's going to hit that 100 mark and sell, yeah, lock it in because if it hits that and drops like a rock, it's a lot easier to sell into strength than it is a sell-off. So you're selling at 98, probably a much better fill if that scenario were to pan out. I do think, and I've seen all the stuff. I've seen some people think 102, 104. I said 107. Just a guess on my part. That people are running Fibonacci extensions. They're measuring the flag, which if you're going to measure the flag, it's usually leg in, leg out. So we'll take the bars pattern on this. We'll just measure. Here's your leg in. Let's measure the whole flag just so you have it all. And then we'll just move these candles up. There's the going out. Where are we at? Right about there. Looks a little more appealing if we do it right there, right? Looks like it could be right on that. Now that would put us at a peak. We'll call it 112. Be careful making trades like this. Typically, on a bull flag, you'll take this leg and then attach it to the breakout. People will measure it that way. That's just technical analysis. It's nothing driven. I don't know any hedge fund that's just rocking millions and millions of dollars thinking this is where we'll sell. Nonetheless, it is a very popular thing, so I'm sure there will be some sellers around that mark. But again, the 100K is going to get headlines. It's going to reach some news. But often, I'm very curious how many people will get FOMO at 100,000 because it's going to get 100,000 and everyone's going to believe it's going to sell off. And when it hits 101, you're going to start getting the people that think maybe it's not. Now, 101 is not really going to flex a lot of people's brains, but 102, 103, 104, you start to really like, oh my gosh, this might keep going, and then people really start to buy in. So it ends up being more the 100K was a milestone at which people maybe started taking it serious. For every person that's bullish, there's going to be someone that's bearish. Again, it's a coin. There's a heads and tails to every side, or sorry, to every play. But and someone says, or not, who dat says, why not just keep going? It very well can. There's no book out there that says it needs to stop. For everyone that's buying and holding it, right? You're locking up liquidity, making fewer coins out there for people to play the in and out game on. Microsoft, there was a sales pitch for Microsoft to buy it. Microsoft did turn it down. I do believe Tesla still has some. There's a pharmaceutical company that just put some on their books. As that continues, things just get locked up. Remember, only 21 million Bitcoins will ever be made. It should be in the year 2041, something like that. Donald, not me, someone in the chat says, I saw a bunch of sell orders for Bitcoin in the 103, 104 area. Sure. It's, I think people are throwing darts, and I wouldn't blame them, especially if you're up a lot. I'm personally not. It was very painful writing it down last time. I don't know if I'm going to, as of now, my goal is 20 coins. So until I have that, I don't think I'm going to sell. When we get too many people talking about it, go short. It's crazy how many people aren't talking about it yet. Remember last time it hit 70 or the first time it hit 20, everyone was talking about it. You couldn't scroll on Facebook past 2 posts without somebody talking about Bitcoin. And I think people they're numb to that, but they won't be numb to the 100,000 mark, which is why there's actually a solid chance it does keep going, I think. User 8327931972581. I think I actually know your friend, user 8327931972582. Very similar. He says none, he or she or they, none of them to the moon for now. None of them to the moon for now. Record my comment. You mean like none of them are on the moon, or none of them are going to the moon? I would like to record your comment, but I think I would need to know more about this comment. Alex says, I got in this cycle at 19,000. Banging. I got really pumped about it at 16. 20 coins, and I have coin dust. Crumbs of crumbs. It doesn't matter how many anyone has. I think it's a buy and hold. And I don't plan on selling at 100, 150, or 200,000. I think it's going to go much higher. At that point, I want to buy as much as I can sub 100, which sounds really weird to say, especially if we do get another crypto winter, or, I know it comes in cycles, but if we were to get some kind of real pullback on this, almost sounds like I'm driving FOMO. So I got to get it under 100K, and we haven't even touched 100K yet. Nonetheless, if we do get another one, I will probably have to load up at that point and start really working towards getting the rest of them. But right now, realistically, if we look at Bitcoin, I do think before we see a pullback, there's my obviously where it's going to the moon. Realistically, I see maybe something like this panning out. We might get a decent pullback, pulls back to the 80 or 70 mark, and we hang out. But I kind of see something more like this at this point, where it kind of reminiscent of NVIDIA, where it kind of just goes sideways for a while. I think that's where a lot of people might go to sleep. The hype will die down. You'll see things like Mara, Riot, MicroStrategy. You'll see them really cool down because those are more a hype play, almost a leverage Bitcoin play. At that point, that's where I will want to accumulate more. When ETF catches up to Bitcoin, they own it. Most of the ETFs already own it. There's Bitcoin futures. There's quite a few Bitcoin ETFs, but if you think it's going to catch up to that price, that's not. Oh, when's Ethereum going to catch up to Bitcoin? Ethereum's a different story. There's a little more than 21 million of those being made. I don't think it ever will catch up. Talking maybe momentum wise, we haven't even broken down Ethereum in a while. We can do that real quick. Sucks to suck. I don't know. I don't know if there is. Bitcoin, Ethereum would probably need to break 4,000 before any hype comes into that. Some people are saying Ethereum to 7,500. Yeah, hopefully. We can just start saying a bunch of numbers if we want. If we're going to play the what if game, let's say something cool 10,000, 100,000. Ethereum catches up to Bitcoin. Until that happens, we can't really do much. Rug pull to the moon, bro. I swear I'll pump. Just buy it. Oh, rug pull. Okay, so there's a coin now called rug pull. And you guys with the straight face actually buy these coins. With one speech from Trump, the coin will go. Cyber Short says, "Oh, we gamble in crypto." None of them to the moon or whatever. Bitcoin will go down again after 100 and Ethereum to 4,000. Okay. Sweet. Heard it here first. Let's get to 100 first, and then we'll worry about the rest. All right. So the one that I did buy today, and it has been, you guys ask me about it all the time. It is up. Sweet. It started to break out of this right here. I got it at it's right here, 117-ish, maybe 16, around there. I started seeing this sideways thing, and I told you guys last night, this kind of looks a lot like Doge as well, that it's kind of sideways, and that's bullish because you have your leg in and then sideways. So the bears contested it, and there was zero follow through, zero strength. Now, the main thing that actually made me buy XRP. Now, this has to do with banks, and there is a real use case for this, which I will break down, just not in this video. There's going to be a full video breaking it down because people are already asking me what actually is XRP. Because in my last stream, was it yesterday? I even told you guys, this is not a meme coin. This is not anything like that. It's pumping. It's moving with them because Bitcoin's pushing up. This one could actually be something. Now, the one thing I did was I liked XRP, and then it got removed from the markets. So just a thing for me is if it wasn't on Coinbase, I wasn't buying it. I wasn't going to open myself up to any kind of bias that I might think I know, and then I'm on some weird exchange buying something, and then it just never takes off. So one of my rules was I'm only going to do it if it's on Coinbase, and XRP was on Coinbase. It got removed. There was a whole lot of talk about it being a scam, and it's like, I'm just gonna not do that one. Anyway, they cleared all those charges. It was back on Coinbase, but I just never took advantage of it. But they added it onto Robinhood now. So now that we have everything cleared and it's kind of making its way to different exchanges, I liked it again. So price action wise, we jumped up, we went straight. I thought that was a good time. If it breaks this, it'd just be like any other trade. In fact, a lot of stocks don't look as clean as XRP. So I went long. I posted it in the chat today, and then I'll probably worry about trailing this another time. For now, I want to see where this goes because I do think it could get quite a bit higher, as a matter of fact. If it does take off, we would have to go to Kraken. Let's see. Do we have a Kraken one? Here we go. As I know it's been higher, but we'll see. What was it's high on Kraken? 330. If it actually becomes something, I think this one might be worth a hold. Which right now that's kind of where I'm at. If it just goes nuts, then I'll probably just lock it in. You can always get back in later. With coins like this, I have zero attachment. Bitcoin's the one I will really hold forever. The SEC president resigned today. What a relief. He actually is going to resign January 20th. Now, he was not a fan of crypto, but we did get the final announcement that he will be gone January 20th. That's Gary Gensler. So full sin. I think a lot of people think that's going to be bullish this. But while we're on the topic, let's just cover Doge real quick. Doge is still sideways. which, like I broke down yesterday, meme coin or not, I don't care what the reason is. A lot of people are playing technicals. A lot of people think there's going to be a movement. They think Department of Government Efficiency has literally anything to do with Dogecoin. It doesn't. But again, this is all about buyers and sellers. Now, there's plenty of product being made. So Dogecoin, they're trying their hardest to make sure it goes to zero by making 14 million coins a day. Everyone else buys them up. We're holding it up. Things are looking good. We need to at least cover that and then some to make this thing move up. But again, technicals, the fairy tale told you to buy it. Santa came down the chimney and said, you need to buy Doge. Whatever your story or reasoning is behind it, that actually doesn't matter. What's more important is, where do you get out if it turns out that story just wasn't the real deal? And right now, this is one of the cleanest ones. I think 32.5 or 33.5 is where you put your stop. If it breaks that, it's probably going to go lower. Now, you can choose to watch your money evaporate. Doge Boy or Doge Million Boy, I don't know his name. I'm not saying to make fun of him. The guy that put all of his money in it became a millionaire, watched it go to zero because he couldn't sell because he was for the people. He was doing it for the people. Anyway, that for the people crap made him a millionaire and then not a millionaire. So I would worry more about your money and your wallets and how that pertains to your life and lifestyle. Again, you can watch it go to zero if you want. Some people really like it. I personally like to buy fireworks and literally light my money on fire. But as a trade, stocks, anything that looks like this, that's a pretty clean chart. It's a pretty easy one. Again, it takes 3 brain cells to take a trade like this because you're probably going to go long. You can go short if you want, but you know exactly where to put your stop. I mean, here are your plays for Doge. It's really simple. Let's say you're going to go short because you're not part of the movement. All right, so there's your short play on that. Okay, and then here's your long play. Same thing. Your stop's going to go below this green wick right there. We'll call it 32.5. Sky's the limit. Now it needs to, first of all, we'll call it 70 cents. It's sideways until not. So we have sellers at this zone, buyers at this zone. There is a game of tug of war being played. One of you guys' hands are about to get real tired. Okay. So as soon as it breaks this, honestly, if that was a stock, that's a decent short. As soon as it breaks this, you can wait for the breakout and literally buy it up here. So if you wanted to wait for that, here's what your trade would actually look like. You would go short down here, you would go long up here, and your stops would be on the other side of these zones. That's how you could literally take this trade on both sides right now. You can set your alerts for the break of these wicks and take the trade then. This is for stocks. This is just basic technical analysis, but that's how you could trade that. Right now, if you wanted to front run that risk and you think it's going to break up, you go long, and it was the trade I just had on. But trades like this, again, just because the chart is this clean doesn't mean you will make money. It does mean, however, you will take the plan, and if it goes against you, you take a small loss. If it sends it, you're on the gain train. Start managing and see how much money you can make off that thing. Squeeze every penny you can out of it. Hopefully Doge goes to 1 million, whatever the excuse is. I'm on board all of the gain trains. But again, 3 brain cells to take that trade. Trump coin and stimulus checks are on the way. I hope not. We saw what stimulus did. Is this Gap? This is Doge, as a matter of fact. All right. Anyway, let's move on to the S&P. Let's get down to we ended the day green. Okay, we're still inside this range that we had drawn out right here as far as the daily range. All right, so until we break above or below, that's kind of where we're at right now. So we have this candle down just inside days. Tried to get below and above both times. There's clearly some kind of algo or something's going on right here at these 2 levels. I personally do think we're going to break this thing and go up. Our expected moves right there. So it ended up being probably next week that happens if I'm right. Yep, bullish market. That was still the dip buy. I called this out as the dip buy last week. If you guys were here, if you're not, do hit the subscribe button. I don't do the sales pitches often, but I do have a Patreon. Check that out. You guys will get my chart links, so you'll have all the zones. You can see all of my plays. I post them as I go. Anyway, called that as a dip, and I went long over the weekend. It was this red candle right here before anything was green, as a matter of fact. But we just did not jump off that, kind of like what I expected. So I still want to see some bullish to really jump on and just be full force, all-time highs. I want to see a little bit more action. We at least got to break that last Friday candle. Jumping into today, we had that green open. Markets jumped off it looked like it jumped off a cliff. If you were trading futures, look at that. We jumped up, hit that. We were at that red line at the open. And then we melted down. Like, it was like somebody forgot the market was open. They were late to their desk, sold it all off to get a reset. Someone called a mulligan on the markets, dropped down to hit that yellow zone, and then bounced right now. So hopefully we can get out of this. Now, futures do close for an hour a day to take a nap. We closed right here. We opened up actually down. So we gapped down, but so far holding that up and green at that level. What do we have tomorrow? I know tomorrow we have PMI tomorrow morning. So whatever options you're in, you're on that ride, because that'll be pre-market tomorrow. So we'll see what that brings us. And that should be reflected across the board. NASDAQ actually dropped all the way down to this yellow zone, and that trend line bounced right back up. Looks like we're finally starting to break out of this. Oh, shoot. There we go. There we go. All right. So we'd go to the daily again on, this is the 4-hour time frame. Oh, man, that's even worse. If we go to the 4 hours, what I had that on right here, this 4-hour candle. But I do like to notate inside candles, and we are inside this 4-hour candle, this just a little last portion. Look at that daily candle. We're actually up here. So the NASDAQ really does need to break that. To really give us that bull signal, we need to be above that. Shoot, I wish we had checked that earlier. I did everything on the 4-hour. Expected move. Again, the fireworks are probably done. If PMI does send it up and we do gap up tomorrow morning, I probably would look for a gap and crap, to be honest. Hopefully there is some kind of gap and crap. I just don't want bright red tomorrow. I want some kind of we pushed up and then we sell off. I will be bullish over the weekend, so I'll be looking for any dip buys. As far as the Dow, we talked about that being a long. That's just up. Dow actually still looks like one of the cleaner ones. I would still be trailing that on its way up. Bull flag or reversal. Somebody in the comments did say the NASDAQ was making a giant bear flag. And I see what you're talking about right here. TikTok has it perfectly because that's all they can see on screen is right to this candle and over. So that is, yes, by all definitions, if you were to Google bear flag, that's what would show up. But it's the full statement, or at least the one I've coined, and what I believe your mind should be at is bear flag or reversal. Again, every coin has a heads and tails. So depending on what echo chamber you sit in, all the bulls are calling that a reversal. All the bears are calling it a bear flag. Now, much like politics, you can sit around people that will only echo the same thing you say over and over again, and you can just hope you're right one day. I like to just get all sides and see what's going on. Technician says, "Are you still pitching those meaningless yellow boxes?" They are the cheat code to the market. That's right. Let's talk about NVIDIA. What a day for NVIDIA. First of all, we have the earnings yesterday. I was like, toast, nothing, options, destroyed. And then this morning, I don't know who didn't get the memo, sent it. Now, ultimately, it held this yellow zone. We're playing the back and forth game between these two yellow zones with NVIDIA, between 140 and we'll call it 148. Opened up a little bit above. I was like, this is nuts. What happened? I was so fine with accumulating shares. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Then I step away for like 15 minutes. It's already down here. I'm like, that's right. You get back down there because I want to accumulate shares. I'll tell you when to go up. Anyway, what a day for NVIDIA. Anybody else catch that? Because that was wild. We are going to talk about MicroStrategy before I get going. Low-key guy is pumping. So we got chill guy. We got spicy mango spice, something like that. These coins have some of the most ridiculous names, and people buy them. Now, I'm not making fun, but I do take things seriously, and if your name is like that, I assume a child made it. I would trust that coin as much as I do a glass of lemonade from a 7-year-old at a stand outside. I'm not sure what's actually in that lemonade. I just hope it's like sugar and some kind of lemon mix, not some extra chemicals the dad had in the garage. Time to take profit from QQQ and put money on small cap, mid cap stocks. Missing 10 to 15% moves a day from these stocks. I would not. I do think if you are, so I do think there's going to be a crash next year. Focus up because I got a pretty good track record with these. However, I do think there's going to be a rotation out of some of the tech names, and I think it'll be into dividend stocks. I just don't think it's a secret that the market's going to crash. It's just not going to be like the Rona crash. I don't think we snap this thing down. I don't think it's a get cash and we'll buy the dip here in a few days scenario. I think it's going to be a long, drawn out, knockdown, drag out. Again, a crash is 20%. A correction is 10 to 19%. I think it's a deep correction or a crash, and I think it's going to take some time to get there. So that's what I would worry about. And I think a lot of people know that. I think a lot of the bigger money knows that. So I'm kind of curious, do they put their cash in bonds or do they rotate it into something that pays a decent dividend? They'll rock next year out just collecting that dividend and use that to buy the dip later. And that's kind of what I think. Yeah, 2022 scenario. And we talked about 2022 in 2021, and I think it's gonna be the same thing again. I expect higher rates, and Russell will get sat on. I do think inflation and unemployment's making a comeback in March. That's my prediction. So if there was something I was going to buy, small cap, I don't really care about. There are individual small cap stocks that I will like, but I'm not going to just blanket statement buy small caps. I don't care what Tom Lee says. I don't care about anything else. They're small cap for a reason. They still have to make a name for themselves. And it feels like you can kind of pick out the ones that are probably going to do something. So I would rather, if I was worried about that, probably find a good dividend ticker. As much as I even Let's try to find a couple. Did Nike take theirs away? Okay, no, Nike still has theirs. Nike's cheap. I literally despise Nike. But even now, for if you're thinking something serious is going to happen, I was looking at this. I think that's a cheap one. I don't know how good Target will be, but it is at a cheaper level. Pays a dividend. What is McDonald's? McDonald's is right at his own, so that would be a dip buy. That would just be a normal dip buy for a dividend stock. Probably also not a bad one. I don't know. There's no such thing as like a recession proof. There's just things that will perform less bad during a recession. So I'm trying to find stocks like this. Ultimately, though, I think this next recession, they're going to use AI to get themselves out of. If you can't hire somebody, good news. You don't need to. There's an AI chat. There's an AI agent that can do some of that desk work for you. Now you don't need to hire people back. PF. You said PFE. Pfizer has a good dividend and dirt cheap now. Yeah, that one might not be bad. This is one I still have to do a little bit more homework on. Not Pfizer, but just in general, dividend stocks. In general. Oddly enough, earlier this year, I sold all my dividend stocks, and that was all in AI, and I told you guys about that. That's why I converted my YouTube channel, Don Franz Show, into just AI, because I don't think people understand what's coming. It's done very well, but I don't know if I'm going to buy some of those back, because a lot of them have done very well, so I might lock some of that in. What I ultimately plan to do is buy something that will perform well. I want my cash working for me so that I can take those funds and buy the actual dip. Yeah, I might collect a couple dividends along the way. I'm more worried about share appreciation from an inflows from rotating out of the hot stocks into something like this. So I'll get the appreciation, I'll collect a couple dividends, and then I'll lock that in, and then it's just going to be a little fling. Okay, I'm married to AI, and then I'll accumulate as much as I can, as cheap as I can on the AI side. So you think we're going into recession? Yeah. By the time they announce a recession, though, that'll probably be the bottom. Again, I think this all starts to happen March. And I think everyone's going to be surprised with unemployment here in a little bit. MicroStrategy. At this point, you'd assume Bitcoin was a $60,000 coin again, the way MicroStrategy looks. But for a while there, I mean, this was moving like a 4-to-1 ratio compared to Bitcoin. This got a little ahead of its britches. Now, a lot of people were buying MicroStrategy because they buy Bitcoin. That's it. Not a single shareholder I know knows it's a software company, or they know, they literally don't care. They're like, yeah, they buy Bitcoin. Now I get it, right? It opens up the world of options. There's quite a few people in my group that do play this, okay, and they've absolutely killed it on this just by selling options to all the gamblers. But what happened was, what I believe, it's showing up on momentum traders' radar. People are trading this momentum. You don't need to look at all the meme coins that are popping up. It's literally called rug pull. Someone's like, I'm gonna buy it because it's got some green candles. Nothing brings in FOMO more than a green candle. So it brings it in, and then you got them telling their friends. It spreads like wildfire. So now momentum traders are trading this. All of a sudden, they don't care about MicroStrategy. They care about the price action in general. And this thing is sending it. And have you seen the options? Oh yeah, this was the high risk table at the casino. So they're sending it up. I think this is going to cool down. I think it's just getting back to reality as far as that goes. It's still a very decent Bitcoin play just for what they have on their balance sheets. I think this again. We wandered off. Okay, this is like the. I just imagine somebody walking a dog. You got to just yank on its leash, like, hey, get back here. We're not going over there. So the overall trend, I would probably rather care about on MicroStrategy, maybe closer to this down here. There's that 280 mark. It might really go for it. To people that have sold puts, because a couple people did ask me about this, should settle back to 240. I do not think this is a one and done scenario. So now I do not give financial advice, and I really don't care what you do with your money. I don't care what meme coin you bought. I don't care what its name was. I don't care what your wife's boyfriend told you. I literally do not care. If you're choosing to follow me, I hope you do well, and I hope your money grows. It's the only reason I share my opinion. But if I had sold some puts on this and I did get assigned, as it stands right now, I feel like I'm just waiting for the next pump, like right around the corner. I have some downtime where maybe I sold some calls because they're still ridiculous. Vega's still at the party, which means the options contracts are still expensive. I could still collect some money if I just got assigned. So I don't know if I would be panicking, but this is the name of the game when it comes to MicroStrategy. Michael Saylor will join Sam Bankman. Oh no, you'd watch this thing disappear. That would be quick. I'll be selling the 280 puts tomorrow if it drops a bit more. What's wild is how much you. So I actually looked at shorting this. I looked at shorting it before the red candle, and I wish I would have with every fiber of my being. Last night I looked at this. I'm even talking to my admin on YouTube about it, and I'm looking at the put contracts. I was like, let's go way out of the money, 450, ridiculous. What about 400? I wouldn't have even bought a 400 strike put, but even then, would not have risked that much on the 400 put. Like, this is stupid. These contracts are way too much. So I did not take a play, although it would have been an absolutely amazing play to just buy those puts at the bell today, and then go. Yeah, and Lisa. So Lisa's one that's regularly in my group, and she says MicroStrategy is not for the weak. This is definitely not for the newer people. you need to be a little desensitized to some movement like this. If you've never seen this, this will trigger all your panic buttons and probably ensure that you make a silly move that you just might regret later. So if you don't really have your emotions in check, and you got to be real with yourself. I don't care what you pretend to tell me in a chat or tell yourself in real life. If they're not in check, they're going to be making the decisions and not you with any sound mind. You're going to buy at the peak, you're going to emotionally sell at the bottom. You're going to do too much and you will lose. He says it's also not for the poor. If you're poor, you can't afford this. So you're good. Um, Meme coins are the stupidest thing. People label them as trading, but it's just straight up gambling. I don't know if I would call them gambling because that I think gives the picture of a casino. I would assume some of these meme coins, and don't be offended by this, guys. I imagine that's like rolling dice in an alleyway. It's illegal gambling. Like there's no real like sanctioned event. Someone's got a piece of cardboard. You're handing cash to some guy next to you, and you just hope he gives you some money back and doesn't run away with it. And I hope everyone. Usually, when I make comments like that, I watch the followers just cut in half. But uh, that really is it. If you want to get your gamble on, hey, you're not the only one there, at least. But yeah, I really would be careful with it. But I will say a lot of those people trading the brand new meme coins, which is why I've spent so much time on them in recent streams. No, you're not going to see me in them. I don't care what you say goes to the moon. That sounds like like I have a daughter and she brings home a picture. She writes me a letter, and none of the words are spelled correctly, but I still say good job. That's what I picture the people coming up to me buying these meme coins. Okay, that's about how serious I take it. But a lot of them, they just don't know any better. Which again, why if you are my usual follower, some of you guys probably have been very curious as to why I keep talking about some of these meme coins. And here's a guy right now, user 449-395-723-9399. Does it sound like I'm just shouting out a winner to a raffle? He says, I made 6K last night from them. LOL. That's banging. I really hope you do. Unfortunately, telling somebody what they're doing is wrong when they made money, it's not going to click. Now, I can tell them what they did was wrong when they lose money and they'll listen. That guy will never listen to me because he made 6K from it last night. I made 97,000 from Amazon, but his 6K won't shake a stick to it because Amazon's too expensive. Amazon was $3,500 a contract, and it wasn't some crap coin that I bought 1 billion of for $20. And then it went up during a meme craze. Someone cashed out 4,400 into 1 million last night too. Sweet. He says, I have stocks too, buddy. I'm not making fun of you by any stretch of the means. I don't know who you are or anything about you. I've seen your comments a lot, not particularly from you, people saying comments like that, people win the lottery too. Okay. There's people on Wall Street bets that turn their 3,000 into 3 million. It's not unheard of. Okay. But when you think of how many people are actually in it, that's not the scenario. There's a reason you're hearing about that guy because no one else is sharing how they lost their rent money. Those aren't just no one's getting a digital high five from somebody on Discord because they lost all their money. Steve says, I hate that number. I believe meme coins just have a really huge risk. They very much do. Now, to that user, I'm not going to say his number again. I have to speak to everybody, not just one person. And I hope everybody turns their $20 into 6,000. That's amazing. I genuinely do. But again, it's a game of hot potato. And your goal is to not be the last person on that game. When there is an exodus, it happens fast. It happens quick. You won't see it coming. And then you technically can say you're bag holding, but that bag will weigh about as much as an empty Walmart bag. Okay, it won't be anything. Yeah, you could sell the remainder of your Doge or rug pull coin, and your 450 million coins will be worth 7 cents. Why even sell those? Yeah, keep them forever. You're wrong, Dan. Dog with hat is different. Don should create a meme coin. No. I will say a friend of mine, a lot of people do know him. He's on YouTube. Merlin. Trader Merlin is his YouTube channel. Now he teaches this stuff. He literally created a coin just to show off how easy it was to create a coin, and it took a minute. So yeah, I'm very picky with the coins that I have because they need to be big. It's like a 7-year-old telling me he's going to be in the NBA. Hey, that's cool. And whoever invested in you right now when you're 7, that's awesome. Hopefully one day you grow up to be Michael Jordan. He's better than LeBron, by the way. There's no comments, no contesting that. Anyway, I'll wait till you get some college numbers in, okay, and then I'll worry about if you're going to make it to the NBA. But anyway, my 190 turned 500 for and 500 for a second. Yeah. Again, I just want you guys to be careful with them. If you made money, just remember you have not made jack. You've made literally nothing. Your number on your account is equivalent to me scoring higher on Fortnite. Until you lock that in and you have to pay taxes on it, it's a higher number on your phone. If you're into that, if that gets you excited, just go to your calculator app, close your eyes, click a bunch of buttons, and then look at it real quick. You'll be super surprised. There'll be a comma and everything in there. Just remember, it's not your money until it's actually locked in and that transaction is done because it is constantly moving. But he says, "Come on, Don." And shout out to all the new followers. I'm almost at 4,000 on TikTok. Do me one more solid. If you guys aren't following me, just make sure you do it. I do have to wrap it up. It's time for my Zoom session. But anyway, do all the cool stuff. I don't care if you follow me anymore. I need you guys to start sharing these. I've noticed when it gets shared more, everything jumps up drastically. To everyone asking to break down XRP, what do I think of MicroStrategy, all of that, I did answer all of those questions. Unfortunately, TikTok does not upload the live stream like YouTube does. I'm live on YouTube as well. I made it easy for everyone. Don Fron Show or Don Fron Trading. It's in my name in the background. That isn't in. The amount of people that have searched from, it's actually showing up in Google now. But if you have those questions, go watch the YouTube from the beginning, and you'll see we actually jump into it fairly quickly. And then you'll have all of that. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here, and I'll see you guys, I'm sure, at some point tomorrow because Bitcoin will hit 100,000, and we'll have to break that down as to why it hit 100,000 and dropped to 50. I think somebody got excited off of that. And then we'll all wake up. It'll just be a dream. Anyway, shout out to everybody. You guys are awesome. I'll see you guys tomorrow.